Have you ever been blindsided by someone you trusted deeply? Perhaps a friend, a colleague, or even a family member. Betrayal cuts deeper than most wounds, and what makes it worse is that it often comes from the least expected sources. The truth is, not everyone around you has your best interests at heart. The ancient Stoics, with their timeless wisdom, recognized the patterns of human behavior that reveal betrayal before it happens. Today, we're diving into 9 types of people you must identify and understand to protect yourself from being stabbed in the back. Betrayal is not just a random occurrence. It's often the result of ignoring subtle red flags. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to recognize these traits before it's too late. Chapter 1. The overly charming. Beware of the ones who seem too good to be true. You know the type. They flatter you constantly, always saying the perfect thing at the perfect time. Their charm feels magnetic, almost hypnotic. But here's the catch. Charm can be a mask. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius warned against falling for appearances, stating that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. The overly charming person often has hidden motives. They know exactly how to draw you in, how to make you trust them, but underneath that polished exterior lies a potential threat. Let's consider an example. Imagine a co-worker who's always complimenting your ideas in meetings. They're your biggest fan until you get promoted over them. Suddenly, their charm vanishes, replaced by resentment. They'll undermine you at every turn, proving that their flattery was a tool, not a genuine sentiment. It's not uncommon for overly charming people to manipulate your emotions, making you feel guilty or indebted to them. The lesson here? Appreciate charm, but don't let it blind you. Observe actions, not just words. True character reveals itself over time, so don't rush to trust. Chapter 2. The chronic victim. Then there are those who constantly play the victim. Nothing is ever their fault. Life is perpetually unfair to them, and they seem to thrive on your pity. Epictetus, a renowned Stoic philosopher, advised us to focus on what is within our control. Yet the chronic victim will drag you into their endless whirlpool of drama, siphoning your energy while subtly blaming you for their misfortunes. Think of a friend who's always borrowing money. They'll tell you how life has been cruel, how they're always on the brink of disaster. You feel compelled to help. But then you notice a pattern. They never make an effort to improve their situation. And worse, if you ever refuse their requests, you become the villain. Here's a real-life example. A colleague who constantly complains about being overworked and underappreciated. You step in to help lighten their load, but they never reciprocate. Instead, they continue to complain and expect more from you. The chronic victim creates an unbalanced dynamic where you give and they take, leaving you emotionally drained. Recognize this type early. Compassion is important, but enabling self-destructive behavior is not. You can support someone without sacrificing your own well-being. Chapter 3. The gossip. Everyone enjoys a bit of gossip now and then, but habitual gossipers are dangerous. Why? Because if they talk about others to you, they're almost certainly talking about you to others. Seneca, the great Stoic thinker, once said, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." Apply this wisdom when dealing with gossipers. Don't react impulsively to their juicy tidbits. Here's a story to illustrate. Let's say you confide in a colleague about your struggles at work. A week later, you hear whispers of your private conversations spreading through the office. You confront the gossiper, and they dismiss it, claiming they didn't mean any harm. But the damage is done and your trust is shattered. The gossiper thrives on stirring conflict and drama, often at the expense of others. They gain power by controlling narratives and creating divisions. The takeaway? Trust the silent ones more than those who always have a story to tell. True loyalty doesn't broadcast secrets. Protect your privacy and be selective with whom you share personal details. Chapter 4. The Opportunist. Opportunists thrive in your moments of weakness. They see relationships not as bonds of trust, but as ladders to climb. Stoic philosophy teaches us to value integrity over fleeting success. As Marcus Aurelius put it, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Think of an acquaintance who only contacts you when they need something. They'll shower you with compliments and make you feel indispensable, but as soon as they've gotten what they want, a favor, an introduction, or even just attention, they disappear. Opportunists are like fair-weather friends, always around when the sun is shining, but gone when storms roll in. A classic example is a business partner who pushes you to invest in their idea. They'll promise big returns, but the moment things go south, they'll leave you to shoulder the losses alone. Spotting them requires mindfulness. Ask yourself, are they investing in the relationship, or are they just taking? Relationships should be a two-way street, not a one-sided transaction. Chapter 5. The Narcissist. Dealing with narcissists can feel like walking on eggshells. They crave admiration and have an inflated sense of self-importance. To them, relationships are transactional. If you're not serving their ego, you're irrelevant. Epictetus reminded us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. A classic example is the friend who always makes everything about themselves. You're excited to share good news, but they quickly steer the conversation back to their own achievements. And when you need support, they're mysteriously unavailable. Narcissists often exploit your kindness, using it to fuel their sense of superiority. Protecting yourself from a narcissist requires boundaries. Don't feed their ego. Instead, focus on mutual respect and walk away if it's one-sided. Remember, a healthy relationship should feel balanced, not draining. Chapter 6. The Insecure Manipulator. Some betrayals come from those who fear losing control. Insecure manipulators are subtle. They'll twist situations, playing on your emotions to keep you under their influence. As Seneca wisely observed, he who has great power should use it lightly. Manipulators do the opposite, wielding even the smallest power they have to control others. Picture a manager who constantly pits team members against each other. They'll praise you one day and criticize you the next, leaving you unsure of where you stand. This keeps you striving for their approval, which is exactly what they want. Insecure manipulators thrive on creating chaos and confusion, ensuring you remain dependent on their approval. The key to dealing with manipulators is clarity. Don't let their mind games cloud your judgment. Stick to facts, not feelings. Establish firm boundaries and resist their attempts to guilt-trip or control you. Chapter 7. The Envious Friend. Envy is a silent killer of relationships. An envious person might appear supportive on the surface, but deep down they resent your success. Marcus Aurelius advised us to be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. This is especially important when dealing with envy. Their feelings are their responsibility, not yours. Think of a friend who's outwardly happy for your achievements, but makes backhanded compliments like, "Must be nice to have all that free time to succeed." Their subtle digs can erode your confidence over time. Envy often breeds passive-aggressive behavior, making it difficult to address directly. While it's tempting to confront them, it's often better to quietly distance yourself. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your victories without jealousy. True friends lift you up, not tear you down. Chapter 8. The chronic liar lies destroy trust, and trust is the foundation of any relationship. Chronic liars bend the truth to suit their needs, often without remorse. The Stoics emphasized living in harmony with nature, and honesty is a core part of that harmony. Consider the co-worker who lies about completing tasks, only for you to pick up the slack. Their deceit puts your reputation at risk. Or the friend who lies about their intentions, leaving you blindsided when their true motives are revealed. Chronic liars often have a pattern of deflecting blame, making it hard to hold them accountable. To protect yourself, prioritize transparency. Confront dishonesty directly but calmly. Most importantly, learn to recognize patterns of deceit early. Trust is earned, not given blindly. Chapter 9. The Fair Weather Friend. Finally, we come to the fair weather friend, the person who's only around when life is easy. When things get tough, they vanish. Stoicism teaches us to remain steadfast in adversity, and true friends do the same. Seneca said, "One of the most beautiful qualities of true friendship is to understand and to be understood." Think of a time when you faced a major challenge, perhaps a job loss or a health scare. Who showed up for you and who disappeared? Fair weather friends reveal their true colors when the skies darken. These relationships lack depth, as they're built on convenience rather than commitment. Cherish those who stand by you in tough times. They are rare, and they are priceless. And remember, it's better to have a few loyal friends than a crowd of fair weather ones. Conclusion. Betrayal is a painful but inevitable part of life. By understanding these 9 types of people, you can better protect yourself and cultivate relationships that are built on trust and integrity. Remember, as the Stoics taught, you cannot control the actions of others, only your own. Recognize these patterns, set boundaries, and surround yourself with those who align with your values. Now I'll leave you with one final question. Which of these types have you encountered in your own life? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, wisdom isn't just about avoiding harm, it's about living a life of virtue and resilience.